You won't believe what governments and private companies are quietly preparing to launch into space. While you're watching this video, the biggest economic transformation in human history is already in motion, and it's happening 384,000 kilometers above your head. Right now, your smartphone contains over 40 different rare metals. Your electric car battery needs lithium, cobalt, and nickel. Solar panels require silver and tellurium. Every piece of modern technology depends on materials that are becoming increasingly scarce on Earth. But what if I told you there's a place where these materials exist in quantities that could power human civilization for millennia? What if that place is closer than you think? The moon is about to become humanity's next gold mine, and whoever gets there first will control the future of our species. Today, we're exploring 10 transformations that will reshape everything you know about mining, economics, and human expansion beyond Earth. Let's start with the crisis that's driving this entire revolution. Earth's mining industry is destroying our planet at an unprecedented rate. For every ton of rare earth metals we extract, we generate over 2,000 tons of toxic waste. Entire mountains disappear. Rivers turn acidic. Communities are displaced. The environmental cost of maintaining our technological civilization has become unsustainable. Take lithium mining in Chile's Atacama Desert. Local communities watch their water sources vanish as mining companies pump hundreds of thousands of liters daily to extract lithium for your electric car battery. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, children as young as 7 work in cobalt mines under conditions that would horrify most people. These aren't isolated incidents. This is the hidden foundation of our modern world. But the real problem isn't just environmental or ethical, it's strategic. China controls 90% of rare earth processing globally. When trade tensions rise, entire industries can be held hostage. Remember when China restricted rare earth exports in 2010? Technology stocks crashed overnight, supply chains froze. This brings us to our second transformation. The true cost of rare earth extraction has finally become impossible to ignore. What was once hidden from consumers is now front-page news. Documentaries expose the human cost. Environmental reports detail the ecological destruction. Investors demand sustainable alternatives. The status quo is collapsing. Governments worldwide are scrambling for solutions. The United States launched the Critical Materials Institute. Europe created the European Raw Materials Alliance. Japan stockpiles rare earth metals like other nations stockpile oil. Everyone knows the current system is broken, but until recently, nobody had a viable alternative. That alternative is now taking shape in the most unlikely place imaginable. Space agencies and private companies have identified the moon as the solution to Earth's resource crisis. This isn't science fiction anymore. NASA's Artemis program plans to establish a permanent lunar presence by 2028. Here's where it gets really interesting. The moon contains materials that barely exist on Earth. Helium-3, deposited by solar wind over billions of years, could revolutionize energy production. A single cargo ship full of helium-3 could power the entire United States for a year through fusion reactions that produce no radioactive waste. Current estimates suggest the moon contains over 1 million tons of helium-3, enough to meet human energy needs for thousands of years. But that's just the beginning. Lunar regolith contains titanium, aluminum, iron, silicon, and numerous rare earth elements. The concentrations are often higher than Earth's richest deposits. Without atmosphere or water to disperse materials, valuable elements remain concentrated where they were originally deposited. Scientists have identified specific lunar regions with extraordinary mineral wealth. The Sea of Tranquility contains high concentrations of titanium. The lunar highlands are rich in aluminum and silicon. The fourth transformation involves the machinery needed to extract these resources. Traditional Earth-based mining equipment won't work in the moon's harsh environment. Temperatures swing from -170 to +120 degrees Celsius. There's no atmosphere for cooling or protection. Everything must be designed for extreme durability and autonomous operation. Companies like Planetary Resources and Deep Space Industries are developing robotic mining systems that can operate for years without human intervention. These machines use artificial intelligence to identify valuable deposits, extract materials, and process them on-site. Solar panels provide power during the lunar day, while advanced batteries store energy for the 2-week lunar night. The really exciting part is three-dimensional printing technology. Instead of shipping heavy equipment from Earth, future lunar operations will print their own tools and infrastructure using local materials. This leads to our fifth transformation, the evolution from temporary scientific outposts to permanent industrial complexes. Early lunar bases will be small, focused on proving that sustained operations are possible. But as mining operations scale up, these bases will grow into sophisticated cities. Underground facilities will protect workers and equipment from radiation and meteorite impacts. Pressurized tunnels will connect different operational areas. Hydroponic gardens will provide fresh food. Recreation areas will maintain psychological health during long-term assignments. These won't be roughing it camping trips. They'll be comfortable, high-tech communities designed for permanent residence. Artificial intelligence will manage most day-to-day operations. AI systems will monitor air quality, regulate temperature, schedule maintenance, and coordinate mining activities. Humans will focus on creative problem-solving, complex repairs, and strategic planning. The lunar economy will be humanity's first truly AI-integrated industrial ecosystem. Our sixth transformation addresses the logistics of getting materials from the moon to Earth. This isn't just about building a few rockets. We need a comprehensive transportation network that can move thousands of tons of cargo annually. SpaceX's Starship system could transport up to 100 tons of refined materials per trip. Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket will focus on smaller, more frequent deliveries. Multiple companies are developing specialized cargo vessels designed specifically for lunar-to-Earth transport routes. But the really innovative thinking involves space-based processing facilities. Instead of shipping raw materials directly to Earth, orbital refineries could process lunar materials into finished products. This reduces transportation costs and creates opportunities for space-based manufacturing. Satellites built in space would never need to overcome Earth's gravity well. Lagrange points, where Earth's and Moon's gravity balance out, offer perfect locations for these facilities. Materials could be shipped from lunar mines, processed at Lagrange stations, then delivered to Earth orbit or sent to Mars. This brings us to our seventh transformation, the question of ownership and control. Who will own the lunar economy? Current space law is hopelessly outdated for commercial mining operations. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty prohibits nations from claiming celestial bodies, but it doesn't clearly address private resource extraction. The United States passed the Commercial Space Launch Competitiveness Act, which allows American companies to keep whatever they mine from asteroids or the moon. Luxembourg created similar legislation to attract space mining companies. Other nations view these laws as violations of international agreements. China and Russia particularly oppose unilateral resource claims. This legal ambiguity could trigger serious conflicts. What happens when a Chinese mining operation claims the same crater as an American company? Who mediates disputes over mining rights? How do we prevent space-based conflicts from escalating into Earth-based wars? The eighth transformation involves the geopolitical implications of lunar mining. Countries that establish successful lunar operations will gain enormous economic and strategic advantages. They'll have access to materials that Earth-bound nations lack. They'll control energy sources that could make fossil fuels obsolete. They'll possess the high ground in any future space-based conflict. This is creating a new kind of arms race, but instead of nuclear weapons, the competition focuses on rockets, robots, and mining technology. Nations are forming strategic partnerships, sharing costs and risks while positioning themselves for future dominance. The European Space Agency partners with NASA. China collaborates with Russia. India pursues an independent path while remaining open to cooperation. Private companies add another layer of complexity. SpaceX answers to no government but operates under American law. Blue Origin pursues its own agenda while maintaining NASA contracts. Smaller companies pursue specialized niches, hoping to carve out profitable positions in the emerging lunar economy. Our ninth transformation addresses the timeline for making all this happen. Current projections suggest the first commercial lunar mining operations could begin within 15 years. The technology exists. The economic incentives are clear. The only remaining challenges involve scaling up operations and resolving legal frameworks. Initial operations will focus on the most valuable materials: helium-3 for fusion energy, rare earth elements for electronics, and platinum group metals for catalytic processes. As transportation costs decrease and operational experience increases, lower-value bulk materials like aluminum and iron will become economically viable. This leads to our final transformation: the long-term implications for human civilization. Lunar mining isn't just about extracting resources. It's about fundamentally changing humanity's relationship with our environment and our future. Unlimited access to space-based materials could eliminate scarcity as an economic driver. Post-scarcity economics might emerge for the first time in human history. Environmental destruction could end as industrial processes move off-planet. Earth could be restored while human civilization expands throughout the solar system. What do you think? Will lunar mining save humanity from resource scarcity, or will it create new forms of inequality and conflict? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos exploring humanity's expansion into space.